back as we continue. This is your life, Charles Upham. Taken prisoner at Rewisad Ridge, your life hangs in the balance because of the severity of your wounds. But as they heal and you regain strength, you begin rebelling against your guards. Here's a famous picture of you, Charles. I imagine there's quite a story behind that one. But you're involved in quite a variety of escape schemes, and eventually the Germans decide there's only one place for you. The Germans called it a Sonderlager, the special escape-proof camp, but it became known simply as Colditz. Now, your arrival there was closely watched by a man who is today the personal and private secretary to Her Majesty the Queen Mother. As a member of her personal household, he lives at her residence, Clarence House, in St James's Palace, London. But back in Colditz, he was the camp adjutant. And we took our cameras along to Clarence House for this special message from Sir Martin Gilliatt.
Charles, I'm delighted to send you greetings on this exciting day when I know that you've been picked out for the This Is Your Life program in New Zealand. After now 41 years, I remember only too well that day, a Saturday in October 1944, when I was adjutant at Colditz, and it was reported to me that a new arrival had just come into the camp. He came from New Zealand, and apparently his name was Upham. None of us had ever heard of you, Charles, at that time. All this business about two VCs was totally unknown to us. Having recently had the bad experience of the Germans planting a traitor in our camp, and we not having taken any notice of this, he then managed to hand over to the Germans details of all our escape schemes and tunnels. I was determined this shouldn't happen again, so I got hold of the New Zealander I knew best in the camp, a splendid doctor called Fred Moody, and I asked him to go down and check that the Upham we knew had just arrived was a bona fide New Zealand officer. Well, Fred went down and saw you and reported back in a few minutes that he did know all about you, that you were a proper chap, and that you must be allowed into the camp and should become a friend of all of us. And this you did, and we were together at Colditz until the end of the war from our point of view, when we were released by the Americans. I wish very much that you'd been over for the Colditz reunion a few weeks ago, but I hope I may see you in this country next year when there is a reunion for the VC-GC Association. Meanwhile, Charles, all possible good wishes, and I hope we'll have a splendid occasion this evening.
Very nice gentleman indeed. Yes. Well, see how you go on recognizing this voice, Charles.
Good evening, Charlie. Or as I said at the time, what do you know, Kiwi?
You recognize the voice, Charles?
That's Dr. Moody.
That's Dr. Fred Moody, indeed. Colditz POW and retired Superintendent-in-Chief of Auckland Hospital Ward, Dr. Fred Moody. Dr. Moody, we're thrilled that you could join us tonight.
Thank you.
Where was Charles when you said those now famous words to him?
Charles was actually in the shower. And I was in the courtyard. And I chose this particular turn of phrase because I hoped that if the man in the shower happened to be Charles Upham, I naturally hoped that I would get a positive and significant response.
Well, I almost frightened to ask, actually, but did he get that response from
I got that response, and Charles came over to the grill window, and I was able to identify him as Charles Upham, and lately to vouch for him.
I see. Charles, do you remember what you said in reply to Dr. Moody that day?
No, I remember Fred calling out, "Hiya, Kiwi," you see. And I suppose only a New Zealander would have know what he was talking about.
Right.
I remember that and said a few words.
Well, actually, I do have the copy of those words here. If you don't mind, I'll read them out. The words were, "What the hell is this place? It looks bloody awful to me." Had you met Charles before that time, Fred?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Well, Colditz was a very hard place. Of course, it was meant to be. But I believe that Charles gave as good as he got.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. My abiding memory of Charles Upham in Colditz was his uncompromising attitude to German soldiers and German officers and guards. He indulged in irritating them to good cause, because he would come out on parade either with a cigarette or his old pipe in his mouth. On most occasions, Pupka, your old pal Pupka, or Eggers, let him get away with it. But occasionally, Pupka and Eggers objected, and then there was trouble, wasn't it, Charles?
But Dr. Fred Moody, thank you for joining Charles tonight on This Is Your Life. Ladies and gentlemen.